All right, I believe Marvel has a legitimate hit on their hands. Now, there is much to be discouraged about in comic books, but I also think there are things to be excited about. It's not all one way. Now, I will say it is lopsided. It seems that both Marvel, DC, Disney, name the entertainment company, they have not paid attention to fans or what fans want. But with this Ultimate Spider-Man run, I just read Ultimate Spider-Man number 6. And you know that I have not been uh uh very excited. I've been excited about some things that Marvel is doing. I've never been a DC guy. I've said this before. I love Batman. He's my favorite hero. You won't really see me cover most or much DC stuff because I was just always more of a Marvel guy. Not that DC was terrible. I just, when I started, Marvel is what attracted me first, is what I gravitated toward. And Marvel and Image Comics were my thing for many years. But with that said, there is something to be excited about within the Marvel comic book universe, and that is Ultimate Spider-Man. Ultimate Spider-Man number 6 was action packed, started from the beginning. You see the Green Goblin and Spider-Man fighting Kingpin, and it was a good fight. Look, this art from Marco Cicchetto is very, very good. It's perfect for this book. I often say when you mix the right writer with the right artist, you get a very good book. And the inking on the book is very well done. I like that as well. But the story, it flowed very quickly in this book. uh, the rest of Peter Parker's family found out that he is Spider-Man. Of course, he came home. He had just, him and Green Goblin just got whooped up on by Kingpin. And of course, he came home and he looked beat up. So they wanted to know what's going on. How did this happen? So it's revealed in that moment that he's Spider-Man. Of course, his daughter had already known for 4 months. And now the rest of the family found out. Mary Jane wasn't really disappointed. She was more worried about their safety and proud of what he was transitioning to. And she also gave him his code name in this book, Spider-Man. This was overall a very good book. If you're on the fence about getting into Ultimate Spider-Man, as I said before, go out and buy it. You will enjoy it. Now, whether Marvel will continue this streak, that's completely on them. I believe Ultimate Spider-Man is outselling all of their other properties. I could be mistaken on that, but I think Ultimate Spider-Man is their top selling book. So, whatever secret sauce they have in this book, I hope they don't do what they have been doing over the years and go the opposite direction. Marvel, stay the course. This book is good. Another thing, don't change writers, don't change artists. I understand that artists sometimes want to transition and do something else. Whatever you need to pay Marco Cicchetto, I believe that's how you say his name, pay this man. Pay this man. Keep him on this book. This works. Let the man cook. So you know what I like to do? I'm going to go to comicbookroundup.com. I'm going to read the best review they have on the site, and then I'm going to read the worst review, and we're going to get an aggregate, and I'll give you my roundup score or roundabout score based on these two reviews. So the top review, well, there's several top reviews that give it a 10, but we're going to read this one right here from comicwatch.com. Good book. When I tell you this is a good book, it is a very good book. Author, of course, Jonathan Hickman. Artist, Marco Cicchetto. Colorist, Matthew Wilson. Letterer, VC Corey Petty. And of course, Marvel is the publisher. And I like the way the art, the colors, the pencils, the inker, like everything on this book, I think is a perfect match. I like what they've done. And I hope Marvel continues this and continues to give us something good something we want to see, especially from one of their most iconic characters, Spider Man. Keep this going. My concern, and I've said this before, is that they do something and they kill off Mary Jane or his children or bring tragedy in that way. I hope they don't do that. I hope that is not in the plans because I would be devastated if they do that. Okay, so the recap, the shocking conclusion of the ultimate opening arc, Spider Man must finally confront the head honcho himself, Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin. Kingpin, as owner and operator of the Daily Bugle, has been working with uh, the Makers Council to control the spread of information in their favor. Man, why does that sound so much like events that are going on in this current day? I wonder if Jonathan Hickman was kind of playing on that, which means he's the first domino that must be toppled to end their regime. Plus, Mary Jane holds her own. Nuff said. Yeah, it was like I said, it was a great book. The way this all played out, I'll show you some of the art. This is them sitting at the table when they first see Peter's face. He has a big shiner. You can tell obviously that he's been beat up, and they're trying to figure out, well, Dad, what the heck? Well, what the heck is happening? How did this happen to you? And then Peter goes into explaining to them how him and Green Goblin got into a fight with Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin himself. It's a wild ride. So I want to get to the conclusion of, again, some more panels from the book. And as you can see, Chiqueto's art is, I don't know how to describe it, like detail where detail is needed, and the detail kind of fades off. If you've been reading comics for a while, comic book art, you'll kind of understand what I mean. And look, the way Jonathan Hickman flowed this book, the speed at which the book, it felt like the book was fast. It got to a lot of things really quickly, but it wrapped those things up very well. And this is why I said when I first started covering this book, I do not mind the fact that they took so much time world building. That did not bother me. It didn't bother me at all. I know a lot of people don't like the world building aspect sometime of comic books. They want a story to be told quickly. There's certain Ultimate Spider-Man books, I think number 4 and number 5, that didn't really have much Spider-Man. It was a lot of dialogue, but I liked it. Again, I liked it. I have no problem being patient and waiting for the action. My comics don't have to have action on every single page or heavy action in every single book, but it has to give me something to long for. It has to have something that I want to come back for. And Ultimate Spider-Man definitely has that. So again, more panels of, Peter explaining to them what happened, and you see he got beat up pretty good. Wilson Fisk, I hope they show some panels in this article of Fisk. He is menacing. Like, a lot of people don't realize how menacing Kingpin is. And I think the MCU did a good job in what was that, Daredevil, of showing the menacing nature of the Kingpin. I think Netflix did a wonderful job with that. And in this book, you kind of get that same feel. Like, this is not a dude to be trifled with at all. Not the one to be messed with. So again, going through some more panels, I'm just trying to get to the final thoughts because I want to know why they gave it a 10 out of 10. Ultimate Spider-Man number 6 is yet another triumph of an issue perfectly sticking the landing for the opening arc while bringing certain storylines to fitting resolutions. Hickman's writing continues to root itself in character and natural subversions of Spider-Man's specific storytelling structures. The melodrama of secret identities is present, but does not damage the fascinating dynamic of the Parker family. Those choices are bolstered by Chiqueto's transcendent artwork, which delivers a career-defining double-page splash nested between pages upon pages of rich character work, fluid blocking, and stunning moments of action. Pairing with Wilson's emotionally and socially driven coloring, the aesthetic of the book feels as foundational as the artwork in the original Ultimate Spider-Man. With one story arc under its belt, it's clear that this book will go down as a defining moment in Spider-Man's history, offering a real substance path forward for the character in terms of plot, character, and artwork. This is a book that belongs on any comic reader's shelf. Spider-Man fan or not, it is an offering of what Big Two Comics can be when they have the chance to grow and change, striving for something familiar yet original. And yeah, that's a good sum up. I would say that it is more just that the story is good. Story is good and they got a good artist. So now we're going to read this review. This is a 7.5 from graphicpolicy.com. And I'm not going to read through, the synopsis. We already got that in the other review. I'm going to get to the conclusion. It says, Ultimate Spider-Man number 6 is better than the previous issue, but not as good as the first 4. The family's reaction feels a bit odd, with MJ being far more understanding and calm about it than expected. There seems to be a lack of it hitting them as to what it all means. Excuse me for jumbling all of that. Maybe we'll see that in the next issue, but for what should be a shocking moment, it falls flat and comes far too soon in the series. Now, I'm going to go ahead and disagree with that take right there. I personally think, this is just my personal opinion, I think that's a bad take. I think what you see in the family is not, you know how you hear something that's like shocking, but your first reaction is calm because you don't really know how to react. And then when the weight of what you've heard hits later on, you're like, wait a minute, what was I? What did they say? What did he say to me? What just happened? And then when the weight of the repercussions of what you heard really hits, that's when you really get that emotional response. And I think that may be what Hickman is building up to. So yeah, I disagree with that take. I won't say the book is a 10. I think this is a solid 8.4. I think this book knocks it out the park as far as storytelling, knocks it out the park as far as art. The panels and the scenes where the Kingpin is fighting with Green Goblin and Spider-Man and the back and forth and how they're trying to tag team, and you see how massive Kingpin is versus how tiny the Green Goblin and Spider-Man are. Yo, this is great. This is a return to no doubt good storytelling. I'm going to be patient with this one. Now, this is what I hope. I don't know what Marvel is going to do. I hope they don't switch writers, Marvel. I'm a small channel. You probably don't hear me. Do not switch writers. Do not switch artists. You have a legitimate hit on your hands.